Good afternoon. This is All India Radio. I'm Anuja Kumar and with me is Reshma Tiwari with the midday news. The headlines. Recovery rate of COVID-19 patients reaches 62.78% in the country. Over 5,15,000 recovered so far. DCGI approves itolizumab for restricted emergency use on COVID-19 patients. HRD Ministry formulates detailed SOP for conducting university examinations across the country. Vice President M. Venkaiah Naidu calls for adoption of environment-friendly architecture and designs in the country to address future health threats. In Jammu and Kashmir, 2 terrorists killed in Handwara area of Kupwara district. And in Arunachal Pradesh, 6 NSCN IM cadres gunned down in Longding district. The government has said that the total number of people who have recovered from coronavirus infection has crossed the 5 lakh mark. A total of 5,15,386 people affected with coronavirus have recovered in the country so far. In the past 24 hours, 19,873 people have recovered from COVID-19, and with this, the recovery rate reached 62.78%. In terms of recovery rate, the top 5 states and union territories are Ladakh, Chhattisgarh, Uttarakhand, Delhi and Rajasthan, wherein the recovery rate is above 76%. In terms of number of people who have recovered from coronavirus, Maharashtra stands at the top position, followed by Delhi and Tamil Nadu. There are 19 states and union territories with recovery rate above the national average. The Health and Family Welfare Ministry said a total of 27,114 new cases of COVID-19 have been reported in the country within 24 hours, taking the total number of cases to 8,20,916. This is the highest number of fresh cases recorded in India since the outbreak of COVID-19 pandemic in the country. Presently, the total number of active corona cases in the country is 2,83,407. In a single day, 519 deaths have been reported, taking the nationwide toll to 22,123. The case fatality rate in the country is now 2.69%. Indian Council of Medical Research ICMR said that a total of 2,82,511 samples have been tested for coronavirus by various laboratories in the country in the last 24 hours. So far, 1,13,07,002 tests have been conducted. The Drug Controller General of India, DCGI, has approved itolizumab for restricted emergency use on COVID-19 patients with moderate to severe acute respiratory distress syndrome. Drug Controller General of India has approved itolizumab injection for the treatment of cytokine release syndrome in moderate to severe acute respiratory distress syndrome in patients due to COVID-19. The drug was approved after satisfactory result from clinical trials. Itolizumab injection is already an approved drug of Biocon Limited, used for the treatment of patients with active, moderate to severe psoriasis. The Human Resource Development Ministry has formulated a detailed standard operating procedure, SOP, for conducting university examinations in the country. The SOP, formulated in association with the Ministry of Home Affairs and Ministry of Health, have been devised to ensure student safety, fairness and equal opportunity amid COVID-19 global pandemic. Union HRD Minister Ramesh Pokhriyal has informed that the UGC has issued a guideline to conduct all the examinations of the terminal semester in the universities by the 30th of September this year. He said these exams will be conducted through offline, online or mixed mode. HRD Minister informed that in case any student of final year is unable to appear in these examinations, the student will be given an opportunity at a later stage. Mr. Pokhriyal asserted that ensuring academic credibility, career opportunities and progress of students holds prime importance in the education system. He added that the educational evaluation of students is a very important milestone in any education system.
Given the rapid increase in COVID-19 cases in the country, the Insurance Regulatory and Development Authority of India, IRDAI, has allowed 30 general and health insurers to launch short-term Corona Kavach health insurance policies. The policy will cover medical expenses occurred due to coronavirus disease. The insurance regulator said that it has designed a standard COVID-specific product addressing basic health insurance needs of insuring public with common policy wordings across the industry. The sum insured amount of the policy ranges between 50,000 rupees to 5 lakh rupees. This policy can be availed by persons between the age of 18 to 65 years. People can avail the Corona Kavach policy for self, spouse, parents, parents-in-law, and dependent children up to 25 years of age. The IRDAI has said that the policy will also provide for any comorbid condition triggered due to COVID-19 during the period of hospitalization. Following the IRDAI order, several insurers have already announced the launch of the Corona Kavach policies for 3.5 months, 6.5 months, and 9.5 months. Home care expenses benefit up to a period of 14 days will also be covered in the policy for those seeking treatment within the comfort of their own homes on the advice of a medical practitioner. In Bihar, fresh complete lockdown has been imposed today in 5 districts of Nalanda, Vaishali, Begusarai, Jamui and Gopalganj due to an alarming increase in the number of COVID-19 cases. With this, lockdown has been imposed in 15 districts of the state. 6 days lockdown has been imposed in 3 districts of Nalanda, Vaishali and Begusarai. In Jamui district, there will be a 5-day lockdown. Lockdown has been imposed in 4 blocks of Gopalganj till July 18th. Here is more from our correspondent.
The state government has instructed all government hospitals to reserve 50% of beds or at least 100 beds for corona patients. At present, Nalanda Medical College and Hospital, Patna, Jawaharlal Nehru Medical College and Hospital, Bhagalpur, and Anugrah Narayan Magad Medical College and Hospital at Gaya are the 3 dedicated COVID-19 hospitals in Bihar with over 2,300 beds. AIIMS Patna has been declared as the 4th dedicated hospital in the state. Chief Minister Nitish Kumar instructed health officials to increase testing. Meanwhile, 352 new COVID cases were reported in the state, taking the total tally to 14,330. 10,251 persons have recovered so far, with 3,967 patients undergoing the treatment at various hospitals. Recovery rate in Bihar stands at 72%. Door-to-door health surveys being done in the containment zones to identify suspected positive cases. With KK Lal's report from Patna, Tripti Srivastav, AIR News.
The Uttar Pradesh government has launched a massive sanitization drive across the state today. Chief Minister Yogi Adityanath is himself monitoring the drive aimed at containing COVID-19 in the state. UP is under a series of restrictions for a period of 55 hours since last night. The restrictions, which started at 10 p.m. last night, will continue till 5 a.m. on Monday. Our correspondent reports that a few amendments in restrictions were issued by Chief Secretary of the State, R.K. Tiwari, last evening before the imposition of restriction period. Now, all industrial activities will continue in state as usual, but adherence to the social distancing guidelines are a must. Also, it is compulsory to establish COVID desk in all industrial units. Religious places are also open today and tomorrow. Special nodal officers have been appointed in all 75 districts for the massive sanitization campaign. In Arunachal Pradesh, 33 new COVID-19 positive cases have been reported, taking the total number of patients in the state to 335. Of these 33 new cases, 4 are frontline workers and a 2-year-old child. The number of active positive cases stands at 213, with 120 recovered and 2 deaths.
Due to the evolving situation of COVID-19 in Karnataka, testing protocol has been revised. For an early detection of infection, the state has started COVID-19 antigen tests along with RT-PCR tests in Bengaluru, where the cases are detected in large numbers in the last few days. The health department will carry out 20,000 antigen tests in Bengaluru beginning today. More from our correspondent.
The state reported 2,313 new cases yesterday, with Bengaluru urban district contributing the highest of 1,447 positive cases. The city has 11,687 active cases with 206 deaths, with a recovery rate of a little over 22%. Hence, the state government has decided to take up antigen tests along with RT-PCR tests in Bengaluru. Karnataka's fatality rate is 3.8% and that of Bengaluru urban is 6%. Tumkuru district with fatality rate of 12.9% is highest in the state, followed by Dharwad with 9.5% and Bidar with 9.3%. The figures related to people in active quarantine reflects upon the magnitude of the pandemic in the state. Sudhindra, AIR News, Bengaluru.
In some relief to the people of Mumbai, the cases of COVID-19 in the metropolis has gone below 1.50%. There are as many as 22,738 active cases of COVID-19 in the city. The doubling rate too has slowed down to near 50 days. More on this report from our Mumbai correspondent.
It is perhaps for the first time that Mumbai, the hotspot of novel coronavirus, has seen the dip in the cases, which has now gone below 1.50%. The doubling rate slowed down to 47 days. The recovery rate in the city has reached 68%. Also, the effective measures taken by the Maharashtra government, central government and the Mumbai civic body to contain the outbreak in critical points such as Dharavi has drawn praises from the World Health Organization. The WHO chief Dr. Tedros Adhanom Ghebreyesus, while citing the example of Dharavi, which is home to 10 lakh people, said it is an example of how the virus can be brought under control. He tweeted, Dharavi, a densely packed area in the megacity of Mumbai, a strong focus on community engagement and the basics of testing, tracing, isolating and treating all those that are sick is key to breaking the chains of transmission and suppressing the virus. Meanwhile, steady increase in COVID cases has led to re-imposition of lockdown in Pune, Thane, Kalyan, Nanded, Wardha and Mira Bhayandar. Kunal Shinde, AIR News, Mumbai.
In Gujarat, out of 40,155 total cases of COVID-19, 22,849 cases are in Ahmedabad alone. Similarly, out of total 2,024 deaths, more than 1,500 deaths were recorded in Ahmedabad. However, the latest data suggests that new cases and deaths are decreasing in Ahmedabad. More from our Ahmedabad correspondent.
Ahmedabad district has reported 165 new cases and 5 deaths during the last 24 hours, while 161 patients from the district also discharged from the hospitals after recovery during the same period. The positive sign is that the number of new cases and deaths are decreasing. According to sources, the new cases and deaths during the first 10 days of July reduced in comparison to its previous 10 days. 22% drop recorded in new cases, while 45% drop recorded in number of deaths. 1,832 new cases and 70 deaths recorded during the first 10 days of July in Ahmedabad district against the 2,349 new cases and 129 deaths during its previous 10 days. Yogesh Pandya, AIR News, Ahmedabad.
In our series, Experts Speak on All India Radio, we bring you the views of some leading medical experts on COVID-19. Talking to AIR News, Dr. Uma Kumar, Head of Rheumatology Department, AIIMS, suggested to the people to follow social distancing, hand hygiene and cough etiquettes.
Only thing which helps is social distancing or physical distancing. Along with it, you have like hand hygiene, washing your hands very frequently, and cough etiquettes like while coughing or sneezing, just cover your face and nose. Use tissue paper or cloth, or if you don't have anything, you can just cough into your elbows. Third thing is using the face mask. For a general public, you can use cotton face mask, and then they have to be very positive. Don't give up, and surely we'll conquer over this virus.
President of Public Health Foundation of India, Dr. K. Srinath Reddy said, India is in a much better position as compared to the rest of the world as far as the COVID-19 cases are concerned, and the measures taken are yielding results.
We started getting affected later than many other countries, but we are presently in a much better position than the rest of the world, and in that sense, we are better protected. However, we still have to watch how the epidemic advances over the next 2 to 4 weeks before we can come to a judgment. But right now, it appears that our measures taken progressively from February and peaking with the lockdown are now paying dividends and showing results.
Participating in AIR live phone-in program on COVID-19, Dr. Madhur Yadav, Professor of Medicine at Lady Hardinge Medical College, advised people to follow proper respiratory etiquettes when going outside for work.
हमको सावधानी उसी ऊंचे स्तर की रखनी चाहिए जो हमने लॉकडाउन के समय रखी थी। हम बेवजह घर से बाहर नहीं निकलेंगे, बाहर निकलेंगे तो मास्क लगा के निकलेंगे और रेस्पिरेटरी एटिकेट जिसमें कि मास्क लगाना अगर ठीक है तो हम कोहनी होती उसे मोड़ के ठीक है और लगातार हाथ धोते रहे। ये सारी वो है हम लोग पहले भी कर रहे थे और अब थोड़ा ज्यादा करना है। और सबसे बड़ी बात ये है कि जब तक जरूरत ना हो घर से बाहर ना निकले।
Prime Minister Narendra Modi today reviewed the COVID-19 situation in the country. He took stock of the situation in various parts of the country and the preparedness of various states. Mr. Modi stressed on the need to observe personal hygiene and social discipline in public places. The Prime Minister said awareness about COVID-19 should be disseminated widely and a continuous emphasis should be laid on preventing spread of the infection. The Prime Minister reiterated that there is no room for any complacency in this regard. He appreciated the concerted efforts of the centre, state and local authorities in containing the pandemic situation in Delhi. Mr. Modi further directed that similar approach should be adopted with other state governments in containing the COVID-19 pandemic in the entire NCR area. The successful example of surveillance and home-based care through Dhanvantri Rath in Ahmedabad was highlighted, and it was directed that it may be emulated in other places. The Prime Minister also directed that real-time national-level monitoring and guidance should be provided to all affected states and places with high test positivity rate. The review meeting was attended by Union Home Minister Amit Shah, Union Health Minister Dr. Harshvardhan, Member Niti Aayog, Cabinet Secretary and other senior officials.
You are listening to the Midday News on All India Radio. A reminder of the headlines before we move on. Recovery rate of COVID-19 patients reaches 62.78% in the country. Over 5,15,000 recovered so far. DCGI approves itolizumab for restricted emergency use on COVID-19 patients. HRD Ministry formulates detailed SOP for conducting university examinations across the country. Vice President M. Venkaiah Naidu calls for adoption of environment-friendly architecture and designs in the country to address future health threats. In Jammu and Kashmir, 2 terrorists killed in Handwara area of Kupwara district. And in Arunachal Pradesh, 6 NSCNIM cadres gunned down in Longding district. For quick news updates, round the clock, follow us on our Twitter handle @AIR News Alerts.
Vice President M. Venkaiah Naidu has called for adoption of environment-friendly architecture and designs in the country to address future health threats. He was addressing the inaugural ceremony of the National Conference of Indian Institute of Architects virtually today. Mr. Naidu urged architects and designers to answer the challenges posed by the pandemic through modification in their designs. He said the design and architecture fraternity needs to regroup and look for solutions to the problems created by the current crisis while envisioning ways to tackle future threats. The Vice President emphasized that structures should be built in such a way that enough natural light and ventilation is available for the residents. Mr. Naidu called for novel thoughts and ideas for building environment-friendly structures which can be sustained on renewable energy sources. He also asked for engaging the local artists and artisans for construction and design-related works in smart city projects. Prime Minister Narendra Modi has welcomed foreign investment in the renewable energy sector and said that India is seen as a model for clean energy. Calling solar energy sure, pure and secure, Mr. Modi said India is one of the most attractive markets for clean energy. The Prime Minister was inaugurating Asia's biggest solar project in Rewa, Madhya Pradesh, through video link yesterday. The 750-megawatt plant in Rewa is the first renewable energy project to provide energy outside the state to the Delhi Metro. He said solar energy is going to be a major medium of energy needs, not only today, but in the 21st century.
Prime Minister Narendra Modi will share his thoughts with the people in the country and abroad in the Mann Ki Baat program on All India Radio on 26th of this month. It will be the 67th episode of the monthly radio program. In a tweet, Mr. Modi has asked people to share inspiring anecdotes of how collective efforts have brought about positive changes and transformed many lives. People can send their inputs by dialing 1800-117800 and recording a message. They can also share inputs on the specially created open forum on the Namo app or on mygov.in. The program will be broadcast on entire network of AIR and Doordarshan. In the Union Territory of Jammu and Kashmir, suspicious movement was observed by security forces at Naugam sector along the line of control in Handwara area of North Kashmir's Kupwara district in the wee hours today. According to Army, the forces swiftly launched an ambush, resulting in the elimination of 2 terrorists. 2 AK-47 rifles and warlike stores have been recovered. Talking to media, Major General Virendra Vats said the heavily armed terrorists had taken the route through Pakistani posts in the area.
Troops on ground was taken to eliminate the 2 terrorists who were trying to infiltrate into our area by cutting the anti-infiltration fence. The heavily armed terrorists, dressed in combat fatigues, had taken the route through Pakistani posts in the area opposite, which clearly indicates Pakistan complicity in abetment to fomenting terror in India.
In the Union Territory of Jammu and Kashmir, suspicious movement was observed by security forces at Naugam sector along the line of control in Handwara area of North Kashmir's Kupwara district in the wee hours today. According to the army, the forces swiftly launched an ambush, resulting in the elimination of 2 terrorists. 2 AK-47 rifles and warlike stores have been recovered. In Arunachal Pradesh, security forces have gunned down 6 NSCN-IM cadres in Longdong district this morning. The operation was carried out by Assam Rifles and Arunachal Pradesh Police. According to police, the joint operation was carried out under Nigunu village area, Waka Circle in Longding district. During the operation, 1 Assam Rifles Jawan is also reported to be injured. DGP Arunachal Pradesh R.P. Upadhyay has informed that 4 AK-47 rifles, 2 hand grenades, 2 assault rifles and IEDs were recovered from the slain cadres.
According to information with us, they were trying to target some security forces and also to kidnap some important person for ransom. And kind of weaponry and ammunition we have recovered. It is a very important catch.
National Disaster Management Authority NDMA has suggested some measures to be followed by the people during the flood season so that the losses can be minimized. Talking to AIR News, NDMA member Kamal Kishore advised the people that before the flood, they should keep their mobile phones charged for emergency communication and listen to radio, watch television and read newspapers for timely weather updates.
बाढ़ आने से पहले अपने आप को सतर्क रखें। रेडियो, टीवी, समाचार पत्रों में जो ताजा जानकारी दी जा रही है, वार्निंग दी जा रही है, उस पे हमेशा अपना ध्यान रखें। अपना मोबाइल फोन चार्ज रखें। जहां तक हो सके एसएमएस का प्रयोग करें ताकि उसकी बैटरी ज्यादा से ज्यादा समय तक चले। अपने पालतू जानवरों को बांध कर न रखें और एक इमरजेंसी किट तैयार करके रखें अपने घर के लिए, जिसमें प्राथमिक उपचार की चीजें हों, डायरिया की दवा हो। जो महत्वपूर्ण कागज हैं आपके पास, एक वाटरप्रूफ थैले में डाल के संभाल के रखें।
Mr. Kishore said during flood, the people should avoid entering flooded water and stay away from electric poles and power lines and eat freshly cooked and dry food that has been kept covered.
अगर सड़क पे थोड़ा भी पानी हो तो उसमें आप ड्राइव न करें और बाढ़ के पानी में जाने से बचें। अगर कहीं पे बिजली का खंभा गिरा हुआ है, तार पड़े हुए हैं तो उनसे बच के रहना है, क्योंकि उसमें बिजली हो सकती है और उससे जानलेवा झटके लग सकते हैं। घर में आप ताजा पका हुआ खाना खाएं या सूखा खाना खाएं, हमेशा खाने को ढक के रखें। पानी हो सके तो उबाल कर पिएं, नहीं तो उसमें क्लोरीन डालें।
The NDMA member also advised people not to eat food that has been in floodwater and use mosquito nets to prevent malaria.
RBI Governor Shaktikant Das has said that Indian economy is returning to normalcy after the ease in lockdown in the country. He was addressing the 7th SBI Banking and Economics Conclave today. He said that COVID-19 was the worst health and economic crisis in the last 100 years, with unprecedented negative consequences for output, jobs and well-being. He, however, added that after the ease in lockdown, there are signs of improvement in the economy. Mr. Das said that multi-pronged approach of the Apex Bank has provided a cushion from the immediate impact of the pandemic on the banks.
The financial stability of the country, and this is one area where I think the Reserve Bank and the financial institutions, and in particular the banks, will have to work in close coordination and in close cooperation to ensure the stability of the financial system in the country.
The RBI governor cautioned that the medium-term outlook is uncertain and depends on the COVID-19 curve. Union Coal and Mines Minister Prahlad Joshi has said that Coal India Limited has been given sufficient coal blocks to achieve the production target of 1 billion tons by 2023-24. Addressing media persons in Dharwar yesterday, he said India imported 250 million tons of coal last year, and to avoid this, commercial mining of coal blocks will be encouraged.
Whatever is being produced by the Coal India, that is, though it is one of the world's largest coal producing company, the limitation is that they can produce around 700 kilometers, and we are trying to take it up to 1,000 million tons. But in spite of that, there will be shortage. Having the fourth or fifth largest reserves of the coal, we want to see that coal import is fully stopped. That's why we are giving it to the private people for the commercial mining.
The Tamil Nadu Women's Welfare Department, in conjunction with the Department of Animal Husbandry, has devised an alternative employment scheme for rural and suburban women. Dr. V. Saroja, State Minister for Women's Welfare, inaugurated the scheme being implemented through self-help groups at Namakkal near Trichy today. Under the scheme, women are being given country-bred poultry samples along with necessary accessories. The scheme is of special importance as Namakkal is a major centre for egg trade in South India. The fourth cycle of the All India Tiger Estimation 2018 has entered the Guinness World Record for being the world's largest camera trap wildlife survey. Terming this achievement as a great moment, Environment Minister Prakash Javadekar said in a tweet that this is a shining example of Atmanirbhar Bharat, which was attained through Sankalp Se Siddhi. The Environment Minister said that under the leadership of Prime Minister Narendra Modi, India has fulfilled its resolve to double the tiger number 4 years before the target. The country now has an estimated 2,967 tigers as per the latest census.
Now let us take a look at the weather updates for today. The national capital, Delhi, may witness generally cloudy sky with light rain. The minimum temperature was recorded at 28 degrees Celsius, while the maximum is expected to be around 37 degrees. Mumbai is expected to have a generally cloudy sky with moderate rain. The city witnessed a minimum temperature of 28 degrees Celsius and will have a maximum of around 33 degrees. In Chennai, the temperature will hover between 23 and 34 degrees Celsius. The city will have a generally cloudy sky with moderate rain. Kolkata will have partly cloudy sky with 1 or 2 spells of rain or thunder showers with a minimum temperature of 28 degrees Celsius. The maximum temperature will be nearly 36 degrees. In Jammu and Kashmir, the minimum temperature was 23 degrees Celsius in Jammu, while maximum will be around 38 degrees. The city is likely to have partly cloudy sky with possibility of rain or thunderstorm or dust storm. In Srinagar, the temperature will hover between 17 and 33 degrees Celsius. The city is expected to witness partly cloudy sky with possibility of rain or thunderstorm or dust storm. In Gilgit, the minimum temperature was recorded at 16 degrees Celsius, while the maximum will be around 33 degrees, and the sky will be partly cloudy with possibility of rain or thunderstorm or dust storm. Muzaffarabad may see partly cloudy sky with possibility of rain or thunderstorm or dust storm. The place witnessed a minimum temperature of 21 degrees Celsius, while maximum temperature will be around 38 degrees.
And now, before we end the bulletin, the headlines once again. Prime Minister Narendra Modi reviews the COVID-19 situation in the country, reiterates need to prevent spread of the infection. Recovery rate of COVID-19 patients reaches 62.78% in the country, over 5,15,000 recovered so far. DCGI approves itolizumab for restricted emergency use on COVID-19 patients. HRD Ministry formulates detailed SOP for conducting university examinations across the country. Vice President M. Venkaiah Naidu calls upon adoption of environment-friendly architecture and designs in the country to address future health threats. In Jammu and Kashmir, 2 terrorists killed in Handwara area of Kupwara district, and in Arunachal Pradesh, 6 NSCN-IM cadres gunned down in Longding district. And with that, we end the midday news.